Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is Rick from Bend, Oregon. I'm going to do a video here on a Hydro-Boost on a 2006 Tahoe. Would be the same for Suburbans and other similar vehicles and for X number of years, but this is 2006 Tahoe specifically. This is on my computer. I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between my computer and my garage. 10 steps to the garage from the office. This is a Hyrdro-Boost unit behind the master cylinder. There's the brake master cylinder, kind of driver's side of the car. There are two 15mm nuts that hold this in place. And what you want to do is you want to loosen those. So there's one right there, and then there's one on the other side down there. I got some close-up pictures on the computer. So those are the two 15. You want to loosen these up. You don't want to take them off. You just want to loosen everything up before you take the nuts off on the inside of the firewall, because then all this stuff is going to jiggle around and it's hard to torque stuff off if you're if this is moving around. There's a silver line right there. You can see right there. That is a 18mm fitting. I'd use a flare nut wrench, line wrench, crow's foot wrench to get those off. I didn't need to, but you don't want to round them off. If they're super tight, you want to use a crow's foot. And then there's the other silver line right there, the hydraulic fitting that goes in the Hyrdro-Boost unit. And then there's the black hose right there. So all that stuff, just loosen it up. The fluid's going to come out. Mine had pretty much blown up. It was leaking out back through there. You can't repair these things. You have to replace them. So again, this Hyrdro-Boost, it gets its the pressure or the power from the steering pump, power steering pump down there. You can also, there's also vacuum systems for power brakes, but this one has Hyrdro-Boost, and that's what gives you the power brakes. This is power steering fluid in the Hyrdro-Boost. This is brake fluid. Do not mix them. So they're connected to each other, but the fluids are two different systems. So that's the easy part, loosen it all up. Don't remove it yet. And then the fun part, which I said I would never, ever get back underneath here again, but I'm going to take one for the team here and show you about this clip from hell here. So here's, you see that very well, but here's the silver thing is the yoke that goes in. This is the brake pedal. So that yoke pushes on the Hyrdro-Boost unit. This clip right here, this guy, this is the clip from hell. When I first started this job, this was rotated down. And what I was trying to do, I was trying to pull down on this thing, and that's not what you do. So mine was stuck because it's a 20-year-old car. What you need to do is you need to rotate this thing. It rotates freely now. It goes about 180 degrees, but you need to rotate it so this piece right here, this flat part, is towards the front of the car, and then you can see the post, the gold post next to it. That's connected to the brake pedal. And what you need to do is put a screwdriver in there and pry up on this piece right here. So the little piece on the right gets above the post, that gold post, and then gold, not gold, and then push on this guy, the back of the clip, push it towards the rear of the car, and it'll pop off, and you'll be the happiest person on the face of the earth. And then the yoke and this wiring harness slide towards the passenger side to come off, and then the brake sensor basically just kind of dangles, and then the yoke is free. Once all that's disconnected, then there's four 15mm nuts. There's kind of two down at the base of this thing, and there's two up at the top. Those all have to come off in order to remove the Hyrdro-Boost unit. So once you have all of those off, you can go loosen up or fully remove all the stuff on the inside of the engine bay. The two 15mm nuts, the black hose, and the two high-pressure hydraulic fittings. So that was a fun part of getting that off. Probably took me 2.5 hours to figure out how to get the stupid thing off, and I couldn't find anything online. So that's why I'm posting this. Going back into my office here, pardon the mess, and I'm going to show you some pictures of some details on my computer. I'm not going to go read every single word here, but you can always pause it if you want to look at any of the details. So again, the Hyrdro-Boost unit is behind the master cylinder. Again, don't mix the fluids. This is from the driver's side. That's kind of just it sitting next to the firewall. Disconnect the battery. I did not do this, and when I took the brake sensor off the brake pedal, it shorted out for some reason. Again, it kind of fell apart when I was taking it off. That might have been the issue, but I would just disconnect the battery so there's no issues. I was able to get a new sorry, I'm gonna go back. I was able to get a new brake sensor at O'Reilly's for $20. It's mine was for a adjustable brake pedal. There's also fixed brake pedals, which is a different sensor. So if you do need to get one, take it in with you and make sure the one they give you is the right one. All right, here's a nut that we took off on loosened up. Don't take them off yet. Loosened up. This is the one on the driver's side. Here's the one on the passenger side. And there is a U-shaped sheet metal piece that goes underneath the master cylinder. That needs to be towards the front of the car when you reassemble it. So kind of take a look at that. Make sure you do not want to put that in between the master cylinder and the Hyrdro-Boost unit when you put it back together. So that's just kind of an extra bracket, U-shaped bracket that goes underneath to hold it all together when you're done. Here's the 18 millimeter on the passenger side, hydraulic fitting. Again, you can probably use a combination wrench, just an open end wrench. If it's really tight, I'd highly recommend getting a crow's foot wrench on there, or flare nut, so you don't round it out. Here's the one on the driver's side. This is a 16 millimeter. And then this black hose is just the return line from the power steering pump. And you just there's a spring clip on there. You just need to loosen, kind of pinch that with some pliers, slide it up, and then again, just get everything kind of loose so you're not fighting it once it's disassembled on the inside of the car. Okay, here's the fun part. I hope you can see all that. I think so. Zoom out just a little bit. Not that much. Okay, so again, I showed you the clip. That's a pretty good picture of it there. So the idea is this part right here that is on the right side of this is the post on the brake pedal. You need to get that up above the post, and then you need to push towards the rear of the car, and the clip needs to be in this orientation, and then this will pop off. And then the yoke, the silver guy here, and the wiring harness, everything. You don't have to disconnect the wiring harness from the brake sensor. There's a picture of it later. And this whole thing slides towards the passenger side. So this up is towards the passenger side. Okay. So first I kind of got a pick under there. That wasn't strong enough. So then I got a screwdriver in there, and you put it just kind of on top of the post and kind of to the left of the post. And then you need to twist the whole thing kind of counterclockwise and then push, and it'll pop off. So push it towards the back. When you reassemble it, you need to go the opposite. You have to, I think there's another picture here. What you have to do when you reassemble it is you have to push down onto the post, and then you need to pull it towards the front of the car when you reassemble it. So this is the part that you need to get above the post. This thing flexes. You can see the red line there. It kind of flexes that way. and then you push towards the back. So hopefully that helps you. That took me 2.5 hours to figure out. So hopefully save you some time. Trying to find my button here. So that's the clip removed. You can see the post there. You can see the groove in the post where the clip slides into right there. And then the yoke is trapped in between this wall of the plastic thing and this wall of the brake sensor. So when you do reassemble it, you need to kind of get it the post started through the first part of the wall. You need to get the yoke hole lined up, and then continue to slide all of this towards the driver's side of the car until it's, you know, it's to the point where you can get the clip on. And then again, you put it on, it's going to be fighting you because the post, that thing is on top of the post. So you have to push down and then pull it forward. Fun and games. So I just have some additional verbiage there. Make sure I can see all of that there. But yeah, I think you probably got it at this point. So that's a clip, what it looks like when it's off. Here is the brake sensor, and there's actually a better picture, the next picture. That's kind of the view that we were looking at. So the wiring harness plugs into there. There's just a center thing. You kind of push on it, and then you can unplug it if you need to or want to. But when you reassemble it, you know, you have to first start sliding this onto the post of the brake pedal. The yoke comes in from here. You need to get that hole lined up. The yoke is trapped between this wall and this wall, and then keep sliding it towards the driver's side until that post comes out the top of the second wall there, the hole at the top, and then the clip, you put it on and pull it towards the front of the car. So again, if you break it, something happens, they're pretty cheap. So once you have the clip off and the brake sensor off, you take off the 4 15mm nuts on the inside of the car up against the firewall. That's what's holding the studs of the Hyrdro-Boost unit. There's a good video. I think it's Mike Drop Barbecue is the guy. I had a good video of some of that stuff. I could not get any good pictures of those nuts. That's what it looks like out. So here's the hole that it goes through. And you just kind of pull the master cylinder towards the front of the car along with that U-shaped bracket underneath, and the whole Hyrdro-Boost unit just comes right out. So not too painful. I bought a brand new one for $217 from Part Geeks. There were some that were a little bit less expensive, like $180, but they were remanufactured, and I just figured I'd go with a new part. You don't want to do this thing twice, and the first one lasted 20 years. The next one should last another 20 years, and who knows if I'll even have the car then. But I've had this on for 3 weeks, and I've been very happy. No leaks. Definitely fixed the problem. These are them side by side, the new ones on the left. So I always check the parts to make sure the part I got matches exactly the new part. I always kind of tell myself, I say that they sent me the wrong part, and I need to prove that it is the right part. You can fight things if you have the wrong part, and you don't want to do that. So just compare everything, make sure it's right. This one was spot on. So that's the yoke in the front there. And that's what connects onto the brake pedal. So this is looking from the driver towards the front of the car. And I'll go back one here. Hopefully I don't screw it up. Yeah, that's looking at it from the inside of the engine bay. So the master cylinder goes on to this part right here. And then these are the studs up here that the 4 15mm nuts are on the inside of the car, holding this bad boy to the firewall. Okay, there's a QR code here that came on the sticker on the thing. What you have to do is you have to reuse the piston and the spring and from the old Hyrdro-Boost unit and put it into the new Hyrdro-Boost unit. I'm not sure why it doesn't come with it. It was kind of a pain. Again, I fought this for an hour and a half until I figured out how to do it. The video is pretty good, but they make it look a lot easier than it was for me. So the QR code right there, hopefully you can scan that. or just type it in on YouTube, and then it was a good video. So here's the old one. This is the push rod right here. There's a spring behind it, and this is the spring retainer. And you can see this groove at the bottom down here. So what you need to do is you need to kind of push in on this spring retainer, rotate it until one of these stars line up with that groove, and then you need to kind of pull on it. I was using just like a pick, and then you need to keep rotating in the same direction. I just went counterclockwise. And once you get like 2 or 3 of these little spring clips, the little stars on this side of the groove, there's a groove that it's sitting in. Once you get that, the whole thing will kind of pull out. So again, I fought it for a while and it finally came out. But there's some more pictures here. That's a close up. You can see the groove down here. It's kind of hard to see in the shadows, but there's a different groove that goes all the way around, a lip that these spring clips push against, and that's what holds this push rod and the spring behind it in there. So make sure you take some pictures so you know the orientation of everything. It's pretty straightforward. Here's the new one. So you can see the plunger or the push rod needs to, you need to put the spring on it. You need to have the push rod in there. There's a little washer on it as well that goes towards the rear of the car, and then that retainer you have to kind of put in and then get it set up like the old one. Let's see. So here's what it looks like. So there's a little washer on here, like a plastic washer that goes into the unit first. Then there's the spring, and then there's the spring clip, and it kind of pushes out. I mean, it's looking at you like this. So the fingers of the star are pushing, kind of back against the lip. So again, here's the push rod. Here is the spring. This is from the video. I just took a couple pictures of the video, and then that's the spring clip at the top. Mine and yours, I hope, comes with 2 new O-rings. These are the hydraulic lines on the inside of the engine bay, the 18 and the 16 millimeter. Right there is the old O-ring. So you want to carefully take that off with a pick. You want to put some power steering fluid on there just to kind of lube it up, put some on the O-ring as well, and then very carefully slide the new one on. So there's one on the 18 and there's one on the 16. Do not drop these. They're black and they're tiny, and if you drop it, you'll probably never find it. Like put something underneath it so you can't drop it. This is the passenger side, 18 millimeter. This is the driver side, 16 millimeter. Again, they're the same size for the O-rings. So you can go on either one. So that's that. And then there's just some installation instructions. I'm not going to read all this because this is already going to be longer than I probably want it to be. But if you want to read through the nitty-gritty details, you can pause it and read that. And then it goes all the way through to that one. And you definitely want to, once you have it all back together and you top off the power steering fluid, I did try to bleed it. I kind of put it up on auto stand, so there wasn't really pressure on the tires. The tires were off the ground. I saw this in a different video, and I went from left to right, turning it all the way, the steering wheel all the way, to try to bleed the system, if you will, and like really no fluid came back out on the return line. So I really didn't have to bleed it per se. I just poured fluid in there and made sure everything was tight and it was good to go. Road tested it. Everything was fine. Make sure your brakes are working when you press, your brake lights, your rear brake lights are working when you press on the brake pedal, in case like the sensor got jacked up or there's something going on there. They should come on when you press the brake pedal. And certainly the most important step of this whole thing is you just saved $1,500 around that. That's what my auto mechanic quoted me. So I think like the AC Delco unit is almost $500, so I'm not sure if that was part of it or what. But the unit from Parts Geek was $217 and was perfectly fine. I think original OEM is, I think, the AC Delco one, but I wasn't going to spend $500. That's it. Have a beer, enjoy, good luck, and hope this helped you. Bye.